They don't teach you this in school, they won't show it in the movies, and most men never figure it out. But once you understand this, you'll realize that the most powerful desire comes not from youth, not from looks, but from something deeper, something older, something timeless. Older women, those who've lived, loved, and lost. They've seen all kinds of men. The flashy ones, the needy ones, the smooth-talking ones. But the man they truly desire is different. He's calm, he's present, he doesn't chase because he doesn't need to. He carries a silence that fills the room, a gaze that penetrates without touching, a presence that says, "I don't need to speak for you to feel me." That's deep masculine energy, and older women crave it more than anything. They don't want a boy, they want a man, not one who begs for attention, but one who commands it, without trying. He walks into a room, and she feels something stir inside her. Not lust, not love, but a desire to surrender, not because she's weak, but because he's strong enough to hold her, strong enough to hold her chaos, without flinching, without fixing, without fleeing. He doesn't tell her what to do. He just knows where he's going. And she feels safe walking beside him. His touch isn't desperate, it's intentional, it's slow. It says, "I've mastered myself. I won't lose control for your body." That, to her, is irresistible, because she's had the men who lose themselves. She's had the men who pretend to be strong until they're tested. She's had the ones who collapse under her storm. But you are the storm. Not loud, not violent, but steady, unstoppable, unapologetically you. You don't compete, you don't convince, you don't explain, you stand. And the more grounded you are, the more she feels drawn to you. Because deep down, she doesn't want to lead. She doesn't want to guess. She doesn't want to mother a man. She wants to melt. And she can only melt when she feels your fire. Contained, controlled, burning quietly, but always present. Older women crave that. Not the fire that burns wild, but the fire that warms the entire house. You see, with age comes clarity. She knows what matters and what doesn't. She doesn't care about your car. She cares about your calm. She doesn't care about your abs. She cares about your awareness. She doesn't care how many women want you. She cares if you want yourself. Because when you know your worth, when you stand rooted in your own presence, you give her something she's never had, even in all her years. Freedom. Freedom to be feminine. Freedom to let go. Freedom to be devoured without being destroyed. You don't chase. She comes to you. You don't beg. She offers herself. You don't demand. She surrenders willingly. Not because you took anything from her, but because you made her feel safe enough to give everything. And that is rare. That is ancient. That is masculine. The modern world doesn't understand this. It rewards noise. It praises performance. It elevates the loudest man in the room. But the loudest man is almost never the strongest. She sees through that. She sees the boy trying to impress. She sees the man pretending not to care. She sees the fear behind the flirting, and it bores her. But when you speak slowly, when you hold her gaze without blinking, when your silence carries more power than his best line, she feels it, in her body, in her breath, in places she forgot still existed. You don't have to touch her. She'll remember your presence for days, because you weren't chasing a moment. You were being a man, a real man. And that stays with her. It echoes in her mind when she lies alone. It floods her chest when she sees someone who reminds her of you. It burns quietly beneath her skin. She tells her friends she has himself. And when a man owns himself completely, The feminine can't help but open. That's the truth. Not sold in dating courses, not shared by influencers, not spoken in locker rooms, but known by the few men who choose the path of strength, not speed, presence, not persuasion, stillness, not seduction. These men don't get loud, they get real. And she, the older, wiser, deeper woman, she doesn't want anything else. She doesn't need a fantasy. She's had those. She needs a foundation, one she can sit on, cry on, collapse on, one she can trust, with her body, with her truth, with her chaos. That's you. And if you haven't become him yet, start now, because she's waiting, not to be impressed, but to be met, not to be entertained, but to be seen, not to be conquered, but to be held. Become that man.